If you struggle with shyness or social anxiety, check out our free No BS training course with actual useful advice you can do from home. None of that just get out there nonsense. The link is in the description below. For now, let's get to today's question.
The question, how would a therapist make a person with social anxiety feel comfortable in a session? It all depends on the particular therapist. There are different types and each use different methods. However, I think that almost all of them would try to provide their patient with a judge-free environment and would try to get them to feel as comfortable as possible. A common worry that some people with social anxiety have about therapy is that the therapist will push them to do too much too fast. If the therapist was trained properly, this is not true. It's common for talk therapy, discussing what the patient is feeling, when these feelings started occurring, and why exposure therapy, and cognitive reconstruction. An example of exposure therapy follows. The therapist will ask the client to make a hierarchy list of things that bring them anxiety. At the bottom of the list will be things that cause the patient only minor anxiety, the middle items will cause moderate anxiety, and the top items will be events that cause a lot of distress. For example, at the very bottom of the list may be talking on the phone, while at the very top there might be going to a party. The therapist will then work with the client to try to make it through this list. The goal is that by the time that they make it to the top of the list, their social anxiety won't be as bad. Cognitive reconstruction is where the therapist will have the patient keep a list of irrational thoughts/worries that they have. Next to each they will write, usually a one-word answers, what emotion they're experiencing from this thought/worry, and perhaps what bodily/physical sensations they feel, if any. Then they will be asked to list any evidence that supports this thought/worry and then any evidence that doesn't support this thought/worry. Lastly, they will be asked to come up with an alternative thought to replace the original thought. The goal is that hopefully the evidence against their claim will be more significant than the evidence for it and that they will be able to think more rationally. An example, John is scared that the kids at school will judge him if he tries speaking to them. He is feeling lonely and anxious. The evidence that supports this belief is that a kid was mean to him before in the past and someone said his hair looked funny today. The evidence against this claim is that these kids seem nicer than that other mean kid and they invited him to eat lunch with them one day. An alternative thought is, okay, I'm nervous about talking to these kids at school but they seem nice and I could end up being friends with him, which sounds comforting. Hope this helped. Find more answers and a free audiobook on how to talk to anyone in the description below. No useless advice like just get out there, I mean actual useful advice from people who have really dealt with shyness and social anxiety and overcome it in their own lives.